My next guest won 3 fights in one night and became the King of Sparta. And of course, it is the Moroccan devil, Youssef Zalal, back on the show. Youssef, how you doing, man?
How you doing, my man? You made it sound cool. You made it sound super cool.
Well, it is super cool. I mean, this is like vintage UFC stuff from way back in the day. I didn't even know that this still happened. So when I heard about this, I thought that this is so cool that you were able to compete in three different aspects of combat sports, get victories, and become the king of Sparta. There, what was that whole event like? I mean, looking back at it now, I mean, how can you put it into words?
Oh man, like I said, it's wild. It's the wildest thing I've ever done, and like I never done like I've done tournaments before, but it's never like it's the same sport, but it's never three different sports, So that was the scariest part for me, to be honest. It was like, especially the boxing one, was like mostly because I was going against the boxer, so I was just like, the nerves and all this and that. But you go back, and then it's like it's almost like if you have a good team behind you when you spar. It's like the nerves, and then like you have to spar one round, and then you have to get outside and do the same thing. That was like pretty much the feeling I was going through the whole day. Because I was there from literally 6 o'clock, 4 p.m. Fought at 6 o'clock, and then they didn't leave until the main event was until like 11:30.
So how much time did you have in between your fights?
So the boxing was at 6 p.m. and I think the second fight was after 5 fights, and then I had to go again. Which is those fights went quick too, surprisingly. So it was like back to back basically, and then I had the longer break, which is 10 fights, then the MMA fight.
Okay. And so for you, the boxing was the most nerve wracking.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was, kickboxing. That's what I grew up doing. I've done kickboxing since I was 10 years old, and then MMA. Obviously, you guys know I have the experience so many MMA fights, so it's like not that much nerves or to get ready for that. That's what we used to. But boxing, oh my god, man, we had to change a lot of things. Like we had to do more sparring in boxing. We had to get comfortable with the shoes on. We had to. It was so much hard work behind that.
So how did Coach Montoya and your team that were there, how did they kind of keep you up throughout the whole night? Because there's such an adrenaline dump when you go into a fight. So to be able to kind of stay at a certain level, well, okay, I just won one fight. I got to stay ready for this next fight. How was that whole process?
So, like I said, thank God I have a good team behind me. It's like as soon as I'm done with the first fight, I was like hyped, right? So I was like excited and already pumped and all that because I literally just won the fight that I was most nervous about. So I was like got all excited, talking to my family. So they took me right away. They're like, no, let's go, let's go. And they got me into the back, calmed me down. And then coach, like, obviously did the coach talk, come talk to me. And he was like, listen, when we start loosening up right now, it's fine right now. Like, you're good. And soon we start loosening up again. We're not even going to warm you up that much because you already warmed up. So he's going to get you a little bit kicking going and then go on. So I kind of like kept my mind calm and relaxed and ready to go.
So this happens every year in Colorado, right? I think one of your teammates, or you guys win it like every year. Is that accurate?
So we have actually three guys. So it's me, and then guy named Josh Huber, and then of course Dustin Jacoby. We all won the pro Sparta King, which is crazy.
Man, so what's the significance of this accomplishment, Youssef? I mean, you've already been in the UFC. You've had some, really, really highlights of your career, but where does this rank?
Oh, he's definitely up there, man. It's definitely up there. Obviously, the UFC is a completely different call, right? When I got the call and like to experience in front of the crowd and all that, that was amazing. That was a moment that I would never forget in my life. But this is definitely up there, man. It's like the family. You kept them up all night too. They're watching you from 6 p.m. and then to 11:30. So it was awesome, man. It was awesome to see my whole team and my whole family and oh man, I would not forget that moment.
And did I see you won a $10,000 bonus to boot?
So bro, it's wild. So it's scary. They had so if you lose the boxing, you make no money. you're out of the tournament, and then it's $0. And then I think if you win the kickboxing, you only win like if you move on to the kickboxing and you lose the kickboxing, you only make like 1,300 or something like that. So I was like, and one of my coaches was like, "We're not fighting for free," and I was like, "I agree." So that's all I had in my head. I was like, "I'm not fighting for free. I'm taking the whole 10,000 with me." So that was the plan, and I'm blessed enough to get the job done.
Yeah, very cool, man. Happy for you. And I see your boy Bobby
Thank you, I
Z won
appreciate
an
it.
Emmy title as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was co-main event, so he was excited just to like he watched me the whole time because he was the co-main. So I think they had like 20 fights total. So he was waiting for a long time. So it was an honor like sharing the cage with teammates and amateurs coming up. You get to potentially be a pro next fight. So it's a good thing to just share the knowledge with each other and really grow with each other.
I have to imagine, Youssef, that you kind of have a chip on your shoulder right now because you see a lot of people, your teammates, and other fighters as well, saying that you belong in the UFC, you should still be in the UFC. And you look at some of the guys that you lost to. I mean, they didn't do you any favors, man. They were throwing you in there with Ilya Tapuria, Sean Woodson. I mean, you had just beast after beast. How much better are you now versus when we last saw you in the UFC?
I mean, I tell a lot of people, man, it's like it's a blessing in the sky that I got out of the UFC. To be honest, it really made me open up my brain a lot more, like my mentality and all that stuff. It's like I got to the UFC just on my talent. I never got to, like rely on my talent and my skills and my mentality. So where I'm at right now, it's like my mentality and my skills are like matching each other. So, and that's what I feel like now is the time for me to show people and show everybody where my level is at. And like you said, like I fought nothing but the best guys. It's not like I fought a bunch of chumps and all that. I never in my whole career I never just fought a guy like, oh yeah, this guy's an easy fight, blah blah. It's never that case. Like you said, Ilya Taporia, I'm the only guy he hasn't finished. I almost finished him. So it's like it's crazy to me. And potentially he's fighting for the belt next. So it's like I know where I'm at and my opportunity will come and I will show myself and everybody else what I'm capable of and what I am the new version Youssef 2.0.
How do you see a fight with Tapuria and Volk playing out? If I'm just going to be real with you, I don't see anybody beating Volk right now at 45. The guy's just on another level, in my opinion. Do you think Tapuria can get it done?
I think Tapoya can give him a little run for his money, especially the early rounds. I just, man, like you said, man, Volk is I think he's literally the highest IQ in MMA. I really think, and do believe that. And the second thing I do believe is they get game planning on that team and that gym. It's off the roof, man. Like the way they just recognize mistakes and the way they recognize season openings and stuff like that. It's oh man, it's just a beautiful thing to see.
I
But yeah,
want
I
to
agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel the same way. I want to kind of tie into, what you just said about Volk's team and your coach Mark Montoya. But first, I just want to stick with the theme of your fights in the UFC. Last time that we did see you, it was in August of last year. You went to a draw with Damon Blackshear, who just took a ranked fighter in Mario Batista, the distance. And a lot of people thought he won the fight. Granted, this was at 135. You're normally fighting at featherweight. Watching that fight, knowing where you're at now, like what was your thoughts on it, and where does that do for your confidence to know, what you've already accomplished and done in the UFC, and now here you are undefeated since leaving the promotion?
First of all, I beat that guy. Let's just get that clear. That was not a draw. I won that fight. The 100% won that fight, and I don't know where they got that draw from, but it is what it is. Past is past. We don't care about it. But second thing, yeah, you're 100% correct. The confidence is unbelievable, right? Like to fight Ilya Taporia and then fight Blackshear and see him what he's doing and to see what he's doing to the guys again, like taking Mario Batista to a decision. And I almost actually jumped, like I was supposed to fight Mario Batista on that fight if Blackshear didn't say anything and Blackshear didn't step up. So a lot of people don't recognize that. I was supposed to fight him instead of doing the King of Sparta. And then he jumped in and decided to say, "Oh, with his management team, oh, I'll take it and this and that." And then Sean Shelby went with him. So that was like a close call for us. So that's good though. That at least they know I'm ready and I'm staying ready and getting ready. So That's good. But yeah, like you said, man, it's like confidence is off the roof, man. I just can't wait to show the opportunity. I really can't wait.
Wow. So you were tapped to step in for Cody Garbrandt and face Mario Batista. How, I mean, obviously things worked out great. You won, King of Sparta, 10 G's in your pocket, but how disappointing is that to know that Damon got the nod and you didn't get to step in on short notice against a ranked fighter?
Yeah, it's disappointing, but man, I can't take another man's bread. He's a hustler. He wants to hustle and then do what he thinks, look good and all that stuff. I can't blame him. I would do the same thing, right? So if I fought and then they come at me and I'm like, yeah, I'll step up, especially if I feel confident enough and healthy enough to go beat somebody. Yeah, why not? So I can't hate on that. It's the name of the game. We're in the hurt business, but we also in a business. You got to make money and be smart about it. So yeah, I can't hate on it. Like I said, my opportunity will come, and I can't wait for that opportunity.
So it goes without saying that you're on their radar. You're probably going to be back in the UFC for your next fight. Is that safe to say?
I hope so, man. I hope so. Call song for me, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, if they're already reaching out and they're considering you for short notice fights, big fights like that on a pay-per-view card, they have to be thinking about you for future opportunities. I mean, everything that you've already accomplished now since leaving the UFC, all these wins, you're undefeated. That's enough, right? Like you don't have to go fight another regional show to prove your worth to be back in the big show.
Yeah, man, I agree. And to be honest, is like this opportunity that we just got for the three fights, like it took us since January to find that opportunity. Nobody wanted to fight. Nobody didn't get it done. A lot of promotions was like, we're not risking having you as a main event because if you get called out, we'll just lose the main event, blah, 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 and all this stuff. So I was like, for me, I was just happy enough. But again, it's like, if they want me to go prove more, I go prove more. I have no problem doing that. Where my mentality at and where my level is at, it's completely different. So I can go show it around to anybody. It doesn't matter to me.
135 or 145? What are you thinking as far as moving forward?
I mean, definitely like if it's super short notice, definitely 45. But my good weight is 35. I'm a 35er, and that's the weight that you will see me shine and be a world champion at.
What did you think of Sean O'Malley putting away Aljo and winning the belt?
Also, the crazy story is I literally just finished my main event. Just just won, just finished, and then my team was all in the side, and then I hear him saying, "Oh," screaming. I was like, I have a video of it. I was like, "What's going on, bro? What happened? What happened?" He was like, "Sean O'Malley just knocked him out." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Show me this." So they showed me in the middle of the fight. Like as soon as the fight was over, I was in the cage and they showed me, and I was like, "Wow, what a beautiful timing shot, huh?" That's
Mm.
that beautiful right hand. So it tells you, man, this sport. It's like not how good you are. It's just who's on the point, and it's just the timing. And the timing he got him perfectly that day.
It's a good thing I wasn't near a sports book that night because I would have been betting on Aljo for sure. Do you think O'Malley's a guy that's going to be defending the belt, or do you think it could potentially change hands a couple times? A lot of people feel like Marab is ultimately going to be a champion soon. What are your overall thoughts on the top of the division right now?
I mean, he's a smart man. He knows what he's doing. He knows about the business. He knows about making money, right? So he's calling Cheeto because he knows that's a lot easier matchup than the other guys, right? Because you look at the top five, man. Marab, like you said, Marab, Corey Sandhagen, and all these guys, they're no joke. Peter Yan. So it's like he's definitely a tough matchups for him. So, but like I said, he's a champ though. He did prove a lot of people wrong in the Aljamain fight. So it's like you just never know and never see, right? His precision and his timing and his speed is a lot faster than a lot of these guys. So, but I think he's playing the smart way too, though.
Where do you fit in right now at the top five, top 10 of the UFC bantamweight division? Do you feel like if you have a full camp and you go in there that you can compete with those guys?
100%, man. 100%. I mean, I competed with guys that 45 that's literally about to fight for the belt, I think. So it's like, I know I fought bigger guys. And yeah, sure, 35ers, they're a lot faster, a lot this, a lot that. But again, I experienced it all. I went with the shorter guys, I went with the longer guys. Like you said, I had 7 fights in the UFC. It's not like it's my first time fighting in the UFC, So it's like, I know where my level is at, and I do belong to that level.
How old are you now?
I'm 26.
Oh my God, you're still so young.
I know. So they're like, the funny part is, I was supposed to fight in the Ultimate Fighter. This is a funny story. And then they called me. They're like, "Hey, can you make 35?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm down." And then they were like, "Hey, it's FYI, like you have to make it twice." And then my coach was like, "I don't like that. I don't like I'm a big 35er. It's not like I'm a small 35er." So they're like, you're just gonna drain yourself, and usually not the best guy always wins that tournament, you know." So I was like, I say, and I was like, they were like, "Oh, they're doing like vets versus upcoming," and I was like, "Where do I fit in this area?" I was like, "Cause I'm a vet. I've done UFC 7 fights, but I'm 26." I was like, "Where do I fit in this area?" They're like, "No, no, you'll be with the vets," and I was like, "All right." I was like, "I'm so," but I'll be 27 though in 2 weeks,
Okay.
like
Well,
less than 10 days.
man, you're still a baby. You got so much time ahead of you. So enjoy it, my man.
I
If
appreciate it, man. Yeah.
if your comeback fight, let's just say fast forward a couple of months, you're back in the UFC and your opponent is Ultimate Fighter winner Brad Katona. How does that fight play out? How do you beat Brad Katona?
Oh, pick him long, stay long, use my movement, and just yeah, just pick, and then come in, find their knees.
You think you finish him?
Oh, for sure, 100%. I
Okay.
don't think like I told you, like right now where I'm at, all I all I see is finishing. That's it. I'm a finisher. I'm not a decision guy. I know I seen the you guys seen the 7 fights and the decisions and decisions and decisions, but I'm sick and tired of that, man. I'm sick and tired leaving it to the judges' hands, and I'm like if it went decision, I'm gonna show out. It's not like I'm gonna just be like, oh, it's a decision. No, no, no. You be like, oh wow, like I'm impressed with this kid.
I got to ask you too, real quick, Youssef, because I've interviewed, I've been lucky enough to interview a lot of your teammates, and I like a lot of the guys from your gym. I feel like everyone I've spoken to, they're just good dudes. I'm a real big fan of Cody Brundage. I think he's just a solid human being. For someone like yourself that was in the UFC and then that's not, he's in a very similar position. He had a couple of losses, now he's out. Have you spoken to him, and what's the mindset that Coach Montoya and your team helps you guys develop to stay mentally sound and positive, to get back to the top of the mountain?
Yeah, man. It's like you said, it's you at the bottom of the mountains right now, right? Like it's a lot easier, and then you get to the top, and you're like, oh man, it's like it's scary right now, and like things don't go your way and all that stuff. But like you said, it's like the coaches and your teammates, like teammates been through it, and seeing what it is. And it's like you learn from their mistakes, right? And then trying to help your other teammates as well. But and again, like we're at the point, like especially as a team, I feel like we're coming in a lot with better game planning and like better consistent training and like with like recovery wise as well, and like you said, focus on your mental part as well too, right? Like the experience is the biggest key for us, right? We've done the highest level of the highest level, right? So it's like where you at exactly where you need to be. So it's like for us is that little next step to be like, okay, you're almost unstoppable feeling, and then like you go in and perform. So that's the biggest part. It was like us not performing, right? It was that nerves about performing or anxiety about performing and all that stuff. So to to help out my teammates with that and to help myself out with that, I think it's gonna put us to the next level. And I think you guys are gonna see that from all the guys that you said, Cody Brundage and me and all these guys that literally been through it and then went down and then gotta come back up now basically and then prove something to ourselves. And that's what I call it. It's like we don't care about everybody else says. We're like, oh, you did this, did that. Like look at Brandon Moreno. He was out of the UFC. He was a champ. Sure, he lost the champ, but he was a champ. That's how crazy this sport is. You can get out, get in, and change your whole life. So, and that's what we're planning on doing.
Great analogy. I love it. Last thing for me, I just want to ask you, what is it that makes Coach Mark Montoya such a damn good coach?
His passion, man. He's very passionate about the team and in this sport, and for us to have that and really have a team that's like all we care about is training with each other and making each other better and really pushing each other, right? It's not like like everybody has their own thing type of deal. No, no, no. Like you go in that room, you're gonna feel the passion and then the hard work, So it's like There's not time to be lazy and all that stuff. So I feel like that's the biggest thing. It's the passion that he has for the team, and then for the sport.
I lied. One more thing. Perfect time frame for you to jump back in action. Would you like to get a full camp, or if the UFC comes calling and they give you a short notice opportunity, are you healthy enough right now to say yes and jump back in?
Oh, of course, man. I was like 5, 7 fights, all short notices. I never had a full camp in the UFC. People still don't believe that. I was like, yeah, I got into the UFC. I never had a full camp, and the only kind of full camp I had was Sean Woodson, and that was half of it was in Ramadan. So I really was training at night, barely eating or drinking, and then I had to go eat and drink. So it was a nightmare. So I would never do that again. I promise you that. But yeah, man, I'm healthy. Look at me. Like I don't even got a hit or nothing. There's little bruises and stuff like that, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm always ready, man. And I was like, but yeah, I would definitely prefer a camp, 100%. But if the situation comes up and it's not a camp, let's do it.
Can't wait to see you back in there, man. Again, congrats on winning King of Sparta. Great talking to you as always. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. If there's anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, floor is yours.
Thank you, my man. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you, my man. It feels good to have this side of the what do they call it? Whatever this side, right? It's like I've been on that losing side, and now we've been on the good side, winning side. So yeah, man. I just want to big thank you to my team. My they they've been through it, and helped me out to be the best I can be. And then big shout out to my wife. It's her birthday today too, so happy birthday to her. And then yeah, we're ready to go to the next level and really keep going to the top.